Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today, we're going to be going over the sorceress spell known as Blaze. Yes, Blaze. Blaze has always been a skill that's been rather unappreciated for, a very long time. And it recently got some love in one of the patches. I think it was 2.4. I could be wrong. But it was definitely a little while ago. And what did they do to it? Well, they turned it into a buff, which was pretty cool. So Blaze now applies a faster run walk speed bonus when you cast it, which kind of is reminiscent of like Sonic the Hedgehog or Flash running so fast that they light the ground on fire, which is pretty funny because that's exactly what it looks like. And on top of this, it has made some interesting changes to some unique items. If you've never actually played around with Inferno Stride unique boots, or is it Demon Hide boots? I think it's Demon Hide boots, has a chance to proc Blaze, which carries with it now the increase to run speed. Now, you might be thinking, well, and the increase to run speed doesn't really seem that great. I mean, I got a nice pair of boots that's got some decent run speed on it, you know? What do I need all that extra run speed for? Well, it doesn't give you the same amount that your boots do. Your boots 30% faster walk speed is actually pretty low by comparison. So there's actually two different forms of run walk speed. There's run walk speed on items, and there's run walk speed on skills. Skill run walk speed is actually far more effective than item-based run walk speed, and it means that the run walk speed that Blaze is giving you is actually going to make you run a hell of a lot faster than you think. To give you an example, right now we're currently at maxed out Blaze, which is 90% increased run walk speed. And if I go ahead and throw this on my sorceress, let's start out with our regular run walk speed, and then let's throw our Blaze on here. And notice now we're freaking booking it. I mean, we are just absolutely booking it. And this is because skill run walk speed is a hell of a lot better than regular run walk speed. Now, I've actually built a couple different characters based off of this, and one of them was actually a character named Sanic the Hoojhag, which actually utilizes all forms of faster run walk and basically takes it to the limit. I mean, literally takes it to the limit. Utilizes basically every single form of faster run walk that he can to the point of absurdity. And Blaze is one of those abilities using the Inferno Strides. And all it takes is one time to get hit. And now I'm running Blaze. And we can get our Frenzy in here. And then before everything is done, as you can see, I am just like a freaking crack cocaine hamster. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I go so fast that I can't even like actually figure out like how fast this is. I can't explain it. I just have to show you guys how fast it is. It's stupid. This isn't even as fast as he goes, by the way. He actually goes faster than this. I actually like cheated him to the utmost to see exactly how fast he could ever possibly go. And there's a couple different ways that this works. But basically, he has to build his frenzy stacks. He needs his blaze and his burst of speed. And after he's done, he looks like this, which is just dumb. It's just absolutely dumb stupid. I'm like 900% sure he's way faster than a 200% teleporting sorceress at this point. But unfortunately, he does have obstacles to go through, which if he's in a flat land, he can definitely break the record. But this is town, by the way. So it's just to show you just how ridiculously fast he is in town. Blaze having this increased attack speed, or increased run walk speed, has actually kind of changed the ability from less of a damage ability and more into a buff ability. It's even just a 1-point wonder. So at any point, if you wanted to, you could just throw 1 point in this, get your blaze, use it on occasion when you need some faster run walk to get away from targets. You can use it to escape. You can use it to, get around faster. Believe it or not, I think it actually does work in town, but it has to be cast out of town, if I remember correctly. The fire just doesn't show up. Let me just verify this real quick. So as you can see here, as soon as we go into town, the fire disappears, but we do maintain the actual faster run walk. So one interesting use of this is if, say, you were, I don't know, farming for like 220 or 320 gloves in Rogue Encampment. What you could do is you could actually utilize this to farm a little bit faster. So the first thing you would have to do to farm Rogue Encampment is you're going to have to find a map that has the entrances in the right place. So you definitely don't want the entrances too far away from Charcy or Geed. Preferably you want the one that's up here, but this one will do too. And then you're going to check Charcy for whatever it is that you're checking Charcy for. You're going to run outside. But this is a way that you can make this process even faster because you cast your blaze while you're outside, and now you have that faster run walk while you're in town, and you can run back and forth even quicker. You could also multiply this by using a harmony bow and several other things to increase your faster run walk even faster so that you could get even quicker shopping done. The uses for Blaze having this is kind of endless. Now, how is it useful as an actual ability? It's not very useful. Unfortunately, it's straight up trumped by Firewall. Firewall is way better damage than it. And even maxed out, even fully synergized, you can see that Blaze only does about 1,756 damage per second. 17,569 damage per second, whereas Firewall does 33,000. So in terms of damage output, it's half, basically, of Firewall. It also doesn't really have the same kind of usefulness in terms of placement. Like, if I'm out in, an area and I'm trying to place Firewall underneath a target, it's actually pretty easy to place Firewall under the target. You just place it under them. But when it comes to Blaze, Blaze comes out of your butt. Like you had a bad Taco Bell night and, you're trying to burn the monsters. Well, you've got to, run by them, or you've got to make them chase you. It's not quite as easy to get Blaze to actually hit the target like you would want. If you have a monster that's chasing you pretty hard, you can use it in a kite formation, which is basically to kite away from the monster and let the monsters be burned by the fire as they chase you. But if the monster is not going to chase you in any way, unfortunately you do kind of have to run around them in a circle to actually get the full damage of Blaze, which makes it rather poor as a damage ability. And as I said earlier, there's definitely higher damage output abilities like Firewall that, could work better. It does have the same synergy as Firewall, though, so it is important to note that Warmth is the same synergy for Inferno, Blaze, Firewall, and Enchant. So having maximum Warmth definitely allows you to have some pretty crazy regeneration. All in all, Warmth is definitely one of those abilities that acts as a secondary or a pre-buff. It's not really something that you're going to be using as your main ability. You can try to build a Blaze Sorceress, but trust me, you're not going to have a very good time with it. Pretty much just 1-point wonder it and move on. Now, speaking of 1-point wondering it, let's take a look and see what we'd be looking at if we did 1-point wonder it. So with 1 point, I'm still sitting at level 26, which is pretty high. And maxed Fire Mastery, I'm looking at about 3,500 damage per second. And I also get a run walk speed bonus of 54%, which is actually pretty good. The skill-based run walk speed is at 54% is still going to be pretty impressive. So, as you can see here, we're still running pretty fast with that addition. And like I said, you can stack this with other effects. If you have Vigor, you can stack it with that. Also, now there is the Burst of Speed rune words, so you can get Hustle rune words if you really wanted to stack it even further. And before you know it, you might be running around like Sanic the Hooge-Hag. The only real downside to the run walk speed bonus, in my opinion, is just kind of its short duration. It only lasts 18.2 seconds, which I kind of feel like they should bump that up a little bit. I'd like to see the Blaze duration last a little bit longer than that so you don't have to spam it so much. Maybe turn it into something that would be a little bit more akin to a pre-buff, kind of like Thunderstorm, which has a pretty long duration by comparison. In fact, if I just put 1 point into Thunderstorm, you'll see the duration on Thunderstorm is 504 seconds, which is pretty hefty. And I don't necessarily think Blaze needs to be 504 seconds, but if it was a little bit better than 18.2 seconds, it could enter better into pre-buff territory. And, you might have sorceresses casting it on a regular basis just so that they have their pre-buff. I don't think there's much more to talk about when it comes to Blaze. It's a fire skill. It's a buff. It doesn't really do the highest damage output. It's never really going to be the main skill that you use, but it definitely is nice to have 1 point in for the run walk bonus. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're blazing along. And as always, keep blazing.